So this is a quick video on how to remove yourself from Spokeo. Spokeo is an aggregation site that scrapes user data from all over the world. This data can be purchased as a one-stop shop for doxing and other nefarious activities. It's a really good time to get yourself off this site. Let's take a quick look. I'm going to search for a very generic name like Tom Smith. And notice that we get a massive amount of Tom Smiths. This is going to come up shortly. It's just doing a quick search for all the Tom Smiths. There's often a list of relatives here as well. And if you pay for it, you can get people's addresses, phone numbers, emails, work history, social network information, income, and a lot more. Pretty much everyone is on here unless they purposefully deleted themselves. I highly recommend you delete yourself from this monstrosity. I'm going to show you how really quick. Keep in mind that Spokeo might have multiple profiles on you, and you should really delete them all. There currently isn't much to stop you from deleting your profile or someone else's profile, and I'm going to go ahead and delete this Tom Smith's profile to demonstrate how it's done. So I'm going to use a disposable email address for this using mailinator.com. And I'll call this an unassuming email address. And this gives me this inbox. It's currently empty because I don't think anyone has ever used this name for an inbox before. Notice I didn't have to put in a password or anything like that. This is all disposable. So let's open the search feature for Spokeo. As well as the, actually, let's open the opt-out feature for Spokeo. I can just Google this, Spokeo opt-out, and it's actually just spokeo.com/opt-out if you want to go there directly. So we committed the search for Tom Smith, and I'm just going to choose a Tom Smith to delete. Let's do this one where there's an address, a phone number, an email address, this list of people that they're related to, and this person's 73. I really doubt that they know that that all their information is just sitting out here on the internet. So I'm going to copy the link location, and I'll jump over here, and I'm going to put that in the URL. Right. So here we go. This is just the URL that's listed. There could be more URLs for this person, possibly not. And I'm going to put in an unassuming email address at mailinator.com. And I'm going to say I'm not a robot. And it's going to ask me to select every picture with bridges. Sure, let's do that. There's a bridge. That looks like it, right? Let's verify that. And indeed, I am not a robot. So I'm going to remove the listing. It says, please check your email for further instructions. It's pretty quick. It's instant, almost, in this case. So the first thing, I'm just going to copy the URL for the profile for this person. And I'm going to put it over here and just see. So notice it's here. And I'm going to click through on this second URL right here, this link that says to complete the removal process, click this URL. I'm going to click that, and it's going to give me this message right here. We've received your request to remove this listing, and blah, blah, blah. Please allow 2 to 3 days for all updates to be reflected on the site. Usually, and maybe not in this case, but let's see. If I put in that URL we just went to, notice no profile available. So that's pretty awesome. We get it out of there. It's another barrier for somebody who is looking for, let's say they get your name, or they get a little bit of your name, and they have a city, and they're tracking you down in some way. Maybe they know a couple of your relatives, somebody on your Facebook friends list. They might be able to determine from Mailinator all this information, phone number, address, all kinds of things like that. So if it doesn't disappear right away, check in a couple days, and definitely check, double check. It's an aggregation site, and they're constantly compiling info. So check back even if it's gone now, check back in a couple months and see if there's a new listing for you. I've deleted multiple profiles of myself at this point, and they do come back later. Not the same profile, it'll be different, but it's going to be aggregated from somewhere. So, to be clear, Spokeo aggregates from publicly available data. So what you're doing here is just removing a central point for that collection. It's one safety precaution. You likely still have data exposed out there in the interwebs, and that's a trickier but important thing to resolve as well. Thanks, and be safe out there, y'all.